Welcome back, you guys. Hopefully you saw the disassembly video of this Colt Agent 38 Special Snub revolver, one of my favorites. Now we're going to reassemble it. Alright, so the last thing that we took out was the cylinder stop hand right here, and that's going to go back in. Okay, now this is actually a lot more difficult to do this around the camera, but we're going to go ahead and slide it back in there, and you'll see kind of once it pops through there, you got to kind of work with it a little bit. Okay, so you'll see it. What it did was it popped. I got my little wooden stick pops up through there. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this in and push the spring back into the frame. We want to do this on the firm table. Alright, so now it's back in there where it's supposed to be. You'll see the screw needs to go back in there, so you might want to put a little. You can see it's not lined up completely, so you want to just put a little finger pressure right there to get it lined up, and put this little itty bitty screw back in there. Okay, start it and take a little screwdriver and just kind of get it started. I want to be careful on this revolver because it's an alloy frame. It's easy to damage the threads. Okay, so once I got it started, I'll go back in there now with the bigger, and I'll put my thumb right there just to kind of help guide it so I don't damage anything. And there it goes. I want to make sure I get the threads right and not just start going at it right away. Okay, just a snug fit. Yep, no need to go overboard on that. Okay, so that's back in. Now we're going to put the trigger and little safety bar back in there. And that lives right there. You just want to put this, and slides right in there. You can double check to make sure everything is working. Okay. And what came out next is the cylinder. This is the cylinder lock. That's what locks it in place. Sometimes you gotta get around this little thing right there. Lives right there in the frame. Right there. Everything's kind of shiny, glossy from the oil. Okay, so next up is the hammer. If you remember, you push the trigger to the rear. Oops. There we go. All right. All right. So there you have it. Now make sure it just works right. It's difficult to do this on camera, trying to do all this right around a big tripod in your face. Okay. All right. So next up would be the rebound lever right here. Move that out of the way. Here's the rebound lever. And you'll see here the way it goes back in there just like that, and it lives partially in the frame. Now this can be somewhat difficult sometimes. Okay, and line it back up there. Right there in the hole, there lives the pin. And hopefully this pin goes back in with ease. So sometimes you need to just give it a light tap. There it goes. Okay. All right. Okay, so now that's in, the cylinder paw, rotation hand. You see the post lives right in where the trigger is. Now the key thing to remember is that the rebound lever lives behind it. See where it finally locked up into place where it needs to be. Okay, because that's how it works. It's not like a rebound slide like a Smith & Wesson has with its own separate spring. Okay, so this part can be a little difficult by putting the mainspring back in. I'm not gonna lie, it can be very difficult sometimes and frustrating. You gotta get these hooks around the stirrup, and we may struggle with this a little bit. Let's see. So get it in there. It may slip off. I don't know. Let's see. There we go. All right, so it's snapped into place. You see where it needs to live, right in here. I'm not gonna lie. This step is it can be a little difficult. All right, so there we go. Now we got. You can see if we push on this, the hand. Got some tension on it. That's what we want. Make sure that's lined up. Okay. Alrighty. You can go ahead and put the side plate back on. If you remember right, we left the screws in order, the way they came out, because it did look like one was different. It could have just been the way it looked. I'm not sure if there is actually a difference, but sometimes there is. Okay. So the way this is loaded is you want to make sure the latch or the bolt for the release here is pushed all the way forward and in place, and then you have your latch in the side plate. Kind of, it's spring loaded, so you want to use your fingers and just kind of push it into place like this. So when it lines up, it goes. You'll see there's a hole on the back here, and that goes through, and it also goes through the latch itself. You see it? Push it together. And just kind of hold it like this and just line it up, and you just want to drop it right back into place so it all works, and you got tension on it. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put the screws back on. Okay, I'll go ahead and just use these to get them started, the small screwdriver head, just to get them started. Okay, now I gotta go back in with the. Again, I use my thumb here as a rest. Just ensure that it doesn't slip off. All right, so it's tight, and I don't go overboard on tightening it. Just hand snug right in there. So. Okay, now for the cylinder. You usually rule of thumb is to line up the flutes with the crane. If you don't have any flutes, I guess it wouldn't matter. All right. Okay, turn it back around and put back the. Okay. That you can usually start by hand and then finish it off here. Okay, again, just hand snug. Okay, and we'll put the grips back on. And here you go. That's pretty much it here. Just getting the final. There we go. Just hand tight on the grips. Just go ahead and do a function test. Yep. And there you go. And that is how you reassemble the Colt Agent. I'm Bat Jack JW. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.